Well, in this section, we want to delve into the topic of optimizing our campaigns. The point is, why should we even do this? Let me tell you very simply. The advantage you can create for businesses is precisely this topic of campaign optimization. When I talked about automated bids, what happens is that Google's perspective is practically saying, hey, if you don't want to optimize or don't have time to optimize, I'll do it for you. The point is that it only focuses on the bid. Is working on the bid, not on the actual optimization of the campaign. You should allocate time for that and do the work yourself. So, guys, what Google is saying is not entirely correct. What people are saying for their convenience about automated processes is not entirely correct. The advantage is with those who know how to optimize campaigns correctly and well. This is what I want to teach you in this video. The point now is that the campaign has received a run of clicks, but when I check it, I see no clicks. What happens is that you have selected the wrong time range. When I choose last 30 days, I mean the past 30 days, to see if the clicks have appeared. So, what is happening here is that based on your time range and filters, you are seeing this impact. Unfortunately, the decline you are observing is due to the events currently happening in the country. The occurrence of this event is natural, and the decline you are seeing is completely natural, due to the fact that the volume is decreasing. And now with the filtering and other issues that have occurred internally, access to the internet has become very difficult. Hopefully, as you can see in the video, it has skyrocketed and you are seeing good traffic. The point is that I also see various data within the dashboard. For example, right now when I enter it, I see my address and I need to pay attention to what I'm seeing. Oh, I am looking at the level of ad groups for my entire store campaign, which has a budget of 2,000 tomans. Yes, this is also present and all the details are here. I come here to look at the campaigns I have set up. What is it? I will talk about it in detail with you later. I have an adjustment that later. I will talk about it, actually. I also have negative keyword lists and so on, and I generally see that I have remarketing lists, which I will have to review for you later. And I have other settings like archimetries and territories and English Persian. So I check my general settings to make sure they're okay. Then I move on to my campaign. As you know, when you are looking at your ad groups, you have a default max CPC that is set to the ad group. But does it match? CPC for each keyword can be higher or lower than this. I am seeing CPCs of 860 and also CPCs of 200. Now, I am not concerned with whether these are high or low. I will explain to you later what is happening. But why is the CPC being thrown lower? What happened? What was the technique? And so on. I will talk to you about this. What exists is, I will never ever forget that your child. The exact word for you will definitely be higher than the word freeze or your brother. On the other hand, if I want to talk about it, the word that is more general, meaning shorter term, especially when it comes to freeze or your brother, especially about the freeze, I want to tell you, for the friend I have, I went and pulled the rest out and froze it, which I am talking about now. The strategy of this thing, and I came. I worked on its CPCs. CPC is a more general term that can bring in many different keywords. For example, let's say I place it on my weekly or monthly schedule. The CPC of a word is more long-term, even if it's a phrase or even exact. I bring them up individually. Why? So that if the search is more relevant to this phrase or exact match that I'm placing, this term that I have, that search term, chooses this for Firechrome, and you can cover your overlap this way. Sometimes it's necessary. For example, I'm saying, we have the price of Dam's thread. I have the price of Dam's thread, and guys, I bid on the price of Dam's thread. On this keyword that is a bit more niche, when they enlarge it, for example, the best price for Dam's thread or the price of Dam's threads, etc., I like the keyword that is the price of Dam's thread to come and work with me in the game. In any direction, sir, Dam's thread can file I have no objection. But which one will it choose? The one with the higher rank. How do I optimize this? Besides the quality score discussion, the more general keyword is lower. More general means it's a shorter term, like damn thread and the price of damn thread that you see with me in the picture. So guys, what I do here is that, sir, the price of damn thread that I have placed here is higher because it has half of the more general word. So if the price of damn thread is suitable, for example, if a certain color becomes popular, this will be chosen, the one with the higher rank, and the price of damn thread will also be selected in the auction, and this will fire. Okay. This is an initial point that I emphasized again regarding bidding on your keywords and talked about it. A broad keyword will definitely be weaker and should have a lower bid compared to a keyword that is not broad. Why? Because it might bring irrelevant traffic. For me, the volume of traffic that I want. For example, suppose a user has searched a specific thread and it comes up with offers to buy this embroidery thread that is broad. This traffic is brought to me, but I don't want it. Why? Because I want to, one, increase my connections. Write this down in your notebook. A search is conducted, a search term that I have here. It gets checked, the positive and negative keywords are reviewed, a keyword fires, and ultimately a number is displayed. The more these stages are interconnected, the higher the likelihood that the user will click on my ad. So, I need to keep this in mind. Now, I see. This is the first topic I have regarding this story. Guys, I always start by checking my keywords. Why aren't all my keywords here? Guys, look here. Saruda. At the start of the day, I can see 10 items in a row and I can view them all at once, even up to 500 at a time. I check once to make sure my traffic is clean on that side. Guys, pay attention. If I see that in the keywords, how many silk threads are increasing in number? This could mean one thing for me, that maybe I can separate this ad group myself, take my keywords from here and go create an ad group for the silk thread and work on that. Why? If you remember, we talked about colors. What does that mean? It means, for example, when I say I have a blue, how do I close my ad group? I say I have a blue color. Well, I have a red color, I have a green color, and I categorize my initial groups like this in the way I mentioned that men see colors. Then in the later stages I have, for example, a category with a turquoise color and another with a jade color. For instance, I'm using colors to make the group differentiation more tangible for you. So I take my turquoise color and those keywords related to turquoise. For example, a hand. It's as if their color is turquoise. I separate this and make it another group. I also have my blue, and I separate the jade to make it a more precise group. Why? Kids, when you are categorizing into groups, it becomes more than just a limit. When you are categorizing into groups, what are you doing? You are putting related keywords and numbers together into a group. What happens? Kids, the connection between your keywords and numbers is being established. From that perspective, search teams choose more precise keywords, so the overall behavior improves and becomes more optimized. You are likely to achieve a better CTR, click-through rate, and ultimately, if I have a more relevant landing page with that color, what happens? It results in them, ultimately, having a better landing page experience. Now, in the optimization discussion, the task we need to perform is to first check it once, then check my negatives to see if they are applied correctly or not. Guys, please, don't apply negatives at the ad group level for now. Why? When you apply negatives at the ad group level, something happens. Sometimes we make mistakes, guys. For example, let's say I applied a negative in the middle here. Well, I separated the turquoise group from the blue one. For instance, I apply the thread. Let's say I separated the imam thread from the general thread. But the imam thread, guys, is due to its arrangement, meaning its closure. The imam thread is not used for the imam throughout the year. I separated the imam thread from the main thread, and ultimately it becomes useful. Imagine, kids, this imam thread that I separated, for whatever reason, didn't get a quality score or doesn't have enough color. You come and in the thread group, you completely negative the word imam for the imam thread. Previously, the imam thread was coming through the previous ad group via a general word like buying thread. Now this ad group hasn't received a quality score in its keywords yet. You've just separated it. It doesn't have a quality score, for example, and it doesn't have enough color, and you weren't paying attention. You set its bid much lower than these. And well, this display doesn't get shown because of the lack of color. This poor guy was coming through this way through the general word, for example, buying thread, and was entering at least for now. Well, you came and made this negative too, so it's stuck here, driven away from there, and practically you don't see any traffic anymore. When you analyze the traffic of these ad groups, you need to analyze it. When you do traffic analysis of ad groups and this happens, what happens practically is that it becomes negative. You see, we create a group. I prefer to adjust the bid up or down using general keywords to make these changes in the way you're seeing. To manage your traffic in terms of which one you choose to file, so you can hit negative between group ads. The example I just gave you, so now I understand that it's preferable to set negatives only at the campaign level. If you want to set negatives, a single negative keyword list is just adding individual items. So these are the initial parameters that I check. Now guys, the first step of optimization, considering these thoughts that we've built for you. Write down that cleaning search terms and separating ad groups is the first step. Guys, before the data sits in your dashboard, practically optimization is meaningless for you. First, let the data sit in your dashboard, get impressions, get clicks, and then move on to the discussion. Optimization. So let's weiß es. Now, in this topic that we are currently discussing, as I mentioned, the first step of optimization there is cleaning search terms and separating ad groups. Let's review and see what we want to do. Guys, we are going to look at what the user's search behavior has been and extract new keywords from them. Either place them in the same ad group and create a new ad group for them, or send them to an ad group that is related. And alongside this, remember I mentioned that a search is conducted, a keyword is filed, and ultimately an ad is displayed. In these steps we are taking, alongside the topic we discussed, we can identify some negatives that didn't occur to us and that we couldn't obtain with tools like the keyword planner. So our goal is to add some keywords, either to the same ad group, or to create a new ad group, or to send them to another ad group. And from there, we derive new negative keywords, meaning we clean up our traffic. In fact, we aim to improve the connection between the user's search and our keywords. And ultimately, by segmenting the ad groups, we can enhance the relevance of the keywords to the ads. What does that mean? It means we increase our ad relevance. What does that mean? It means we can improve our expected CTR, click-through rate, with this action. What does that mean? It is Sacha. Ultimately, if it has its own dedicated landing, we can also enhance our landing page experience. What do these three parameters form? They make up your quality score. So it means that in optimization, without incurring additional costs, we are going to increase our quality score. Ultimately, we can achieve a better ad rank so that we can obtain the necessary and better traffic with the same or even lower CPC, cost per click, as before. Well, we obtain cleaner traffic. This becomes the essence of optimization, guys. So I learned that the first step is cleaning up the keywords. I prefer to do the keyword cleaning at the ad group level, for adding new keywords or segmenting them. Regarding the topic of negative keywords, the issue becomes clearer. It works similarly in the campaign. Now, I'll explain what happens. Right now, I'm looking at the search terms of the ad group. Well, I'm looking at the search terms of the ad group, guys. It's important what I'm about to tell you. One important thing is the time frame I'm observing. For example, I should extend this now to see these changing data. So, the time frame I'm looking at is important. And the next point I mentioned is that I'm not involved in all the tasks the user has done, right? Why? I said that I need to have a frequency in the task section. I talked about it. The next point that I always need to pay attention to is the filter. Do you see? Right now I have a filter, and if I change it, even my chart changes. Even the number changes, right? Guys, certainly when you don't see all your 3 meetings here, the CTRs you see here are consistent with the CTR, total clicks and impressions you see within your keywords. I talked about this issue before, that when I come here, you see the total ad group is over 1,300, but here it shows me 838 clicks, indicating that I had another 540 clicks, right? And in total, guys, I had 12,000 projects here, and overall I have the city. For all the keywords, and from all the searches that have been done to, and I don't see all of them here, 10% have settled. So I'm not surprised. When I go to the next stage, guys, if you look, some of them have a number in front, some are marked as excluded, and some are none. In my first step, I checked the keywords of my ad group to ensure they were consistent, to make sure I hadn't added anything by mistake, or if I could create a new ad group to separate my ad group. That means I take the keywords there, pass them, copy them, and go create a new ad group. You have learned how to create an ad group. We know we click on Create Ad Group, and here I come to this level. I click on Ad Groups here, I press plus, and after all the care we've taken, it asks me for a name, it asks for the name of the ad group, it takes the default CPC from you, and in this, add a keyword where you open 2 tabs. From there, you go to get the keyword, or select the keyword. Now you can see what you can do. This is before cleaning up the SHTM, right? Well, this is before cleaning up the SHTM. Pay attention, guys. For example, I go here. Those keywords that I want, first I create an empty ad group if I don't have its ad group, and if I do have it, well, it's solved. I select it. For example, here I say edit, cut. Well, when you press cut, for instance, I say here, suppose I show you something. For example, a paste icon appears here. I refresh it for a few days. I do a refresh, and the paste icon. Do we see it? We see it, kids. The paste icon appeared, right? Now, if I press paste over there, I remove them, it comes here. Removing the kid doesn't mean transferring the data over there. No? It becomes unusable. That keyword won't be there anymore, right? And it comes and gets pasted here. This is for when you've selected your keywords incorrectly. I selected my keywords. When I selected them, the edit came up, I pressed cut. And finally, I went there where I wanted. I refreshed the page and pasted it. So first, I reviewed all the keywords. I reviewed all the negative keywords. Now I see I cleaned the faces from the writings. First, I look at the kids. I see in my campaign. Then I clean the admin in this way. If I have several campaigns, through all the campaigns, the kids' campaigns. In your opinion, is the danger greater where there is less traffic coming or where there is more traffic coming? Certainly where more traffic is coming. So what happens? When you have a lot of traffic, if you are targeting a point, now imagine this and see through the campaigns, see through the ad groups. In his opinion, look at the keyboards. Okay, so first I go to those that have more traffic coming to them to clean up. The point, kids, that you should all go to is that I prefer to hit my negatives first. Why? Because we just talked about it. I see my negatives at the campaign level. Okay, so we do 2 things. We hit the negatives, and then after the keywords, right? Now, how do I explain it to you? First, I want to take it. I don't want to separate it for sure. I go at the campaign level, don't get it wrong. What I said is at the ad group level for after the keywords. So at the campaign level, the campaign keywords, the search terms. I see the search terms of my campaign up here. I am seeing them. Well, I don't have a filter. I pay attention to the timing. Naturally, if, for example, I have cleaned up to here, I have done this work, from here I should apply it, I go elsewhere. No, I will teach you how to take notes on it. So I come here, and look, guys, those that are numbers, because I went through the keywords and the negative keywords. I don't care about looking at others. First of all, guys, write down this point in the process of cleaning our nature. After the negative keywords, if you see a word that is yours and has a spelling mistake, don't make it negative, guys. Ooh. Why? Because it's the same thing you wanted, but in reverse. For example, let's say I don't sell mobile phones. Someone has written mobile incorrectly, and it should be added to the negative keywords. Why? Do you remember the close variance? On the other hand, I'm talking about the strategy after the keywords, guys. The close variance that you see here, right? The close variance that you see here, right? Okay? Go and look at your keywords. They also include some close variance. For example, for us, online purchase of beads was searched as beads. As well, once I added this, for instance, I added the keyword online purchase of beads and also added beads, or kodu. Well, this is a mistake. Correct it. In your keywords, right? So I won't add the close variance of my keywords as well. If you have added them, go and review your keywords once, remove the close variance of each other. There's no need for those close variants. Okay? Now I'm looking. Guys, I'm looking to see. Well, some of them have numbers and some don't. Guys, I want to work with those that don't have numbers. I'm aware of which source I want to apply a filter to. So I apply the add filter for numbers and exclude them. I say just show me the ones without numbers. Okay? This is what I want to work with right now. I'm aware that I came to apply a negative filter, which is why I mentioned the search terms that we were working with. Don't forget to write down the steps you want to perform on a sheet during your execution and do them one by one so your mind doesn't get confused. Now, why did I separate this? Because if you look, these are search terms. That's why when I check the boxes here, when I check the box, it brings up the keyword or negative keyword immediately. When you check the first box, you need to specify it. Do you want to proceed with the approach of adding keywords or with the approach of adding negative keywords? Why? Because I can't say, hey, make this negative and check both of these at the same time. So I first determined my thought process and said, first I'll handle the negatives, then I'll add the keywords. Okay? Guys, draw a big circle and write add keywords inside it with an arrow pointing to the foot. Okay? Draw another big circle and write add as negative keyword inside it. I want you to write text above and below it, leaving some space. Add as negative keyword. Then draw an arrow pointing upwards and another arrow pointing downwards. Okay? What are these? I'm telling you to write text above and below it and leave some space. Okay? So now, I've determined my path. I said first I want to add as a negative keyword. Guys, I look at my campaign. What's it about? Let me see. Store, box organizer, fabric, embroidered fabric, general, maybe thermal pen, body, colored beads, thread, embroidery, needle punch, general, and so on. Okay? Are these things that I have put here correct? I am aware of these items I have here. Now I will go and look, considering my store campaign, what things I don't have at all that I want to choose. I look at them one by one. I have embroidery thread. I have embroidery thread. I have an embroidery frame. I have the price of a warm frame. I have fabric embroidery, embroidery thread, digicala penguin. Guys, let me tell you a point right here. Don't consider your competitor as negative for now in this month. Are you typing 9 lentils on the keyboard? The competitor is currently neither a keyboard nor a negative. It organizes boxes, for example, a raw design for embroidery patches. Suppose I took the raw design into the books. You see I have its column here. Well, I come and look, for example, imagine the design. Now, suppose we cleaned everything. It becomes a bit difficult to find. For example, imagine an embroidery pattern. Suppose I don't have it. Well, I am not criticizing my competitor. I am counting on it. For example, suppose I don't have a sewing box. I really don't have it. Well, suppose. I don't have any anchor threads at all. Well, for embroidery, for example, I currently have this. Well, let's say I don't have embroidery tools. I pretend to do embroidery with kids, for example. Let's say I don't have this. I just go down, look at these one by one, select them. For example, I don't have wool threads. Well, I go down, select everything I don't have. So what about the things I do have? I don't select them. I just mentioned a path. Either this or that. Or you keep going down until you find everything you don't have at all in the sewing box. Or now, the organizer of the sewing box becomes an embroidery pen. For example, an embroidery pen, let's say, For example, I go down, look at these, separate the ones I don't have, and then I select them. Kids, pay attention to two things. Just focus on me for a moment. If I turn around right now and hit the close button, it will remove my selections. But something happens here. If I come back here, I don't have the price for Balochi embroidery. I don't have anchor thread. You have to be very precise, kids, so you don't miss out on anything. It's very important not to miss out on certain options. For example, I have embroidery needles, and I have nothing else, and I have embroidery, I have. Now, why am I teaching you how to use the filter? For instance, I have this, and I still have this, but I don't have a tailor's chalk pencil. Okay? Suppose I've selected all of them, and it's done. Now I want to negate. After negating, I press the keyword. Pay attention to a few points. One is up here, and one is here. The first thing is, guys, what is the default match type it uses for negating? It's exact. Okay, the default match type is exact. Yeah. Here, guys, you can easily change some settings by I want to change the match type to, for example, phrase. Yeah. So, I want to change the match type to phrase. Yeah. I want to remove its words or all three of them. Well, I don't have any anchor at all. If I had the anchor, I would have done it this way. Moving from one term to another. If I had the anchor from the base, I wouldn't want to change it. I put it here, but I don't have it. For example, embroidery. Guys, I can't make embroidery negative. Why? Because if I make it negative, what does it say? It says whether it's needle or not. Both needle and embroidery in any order. I won't show you. Now, what if it's needle embroidery? Well, I gave it a try. So I need to nail this. I put a freeze on both ends. Why didn't I freeze the anchor? Because, guys, a single word in broad freeze doesn't make a difference. Guys, generally, anything that, for example, I say, sir, execute this, or I say, sir, just freeze this. One side hit the price of the tailor's soap pencil. I don't want to be displayed, okay? Or I don't want to buy the tailor's soap pencil online. Okay, guys, pay attention. I said, at what level are we doing this? The negative keyword list campaign is for when you have different campaigns and you want to negative all of them at a higher level. You can't negative at the account level, guys. You have to do this at two levels, ad group and campaign. No? To do this, you have to say, sir, I negative it with its list, and I add this list to all the campaigns. Now, at this point, I don't have it. I'm talking about this campaign, not I bring it to the level of the campaign and then save it. Guys, pay attention to what happens. All right? I did exactly this negative. I just changed the mistake, right? I changed this. I removed these two anchor threads, and that's why it didn't stay in front. Guys, don't get confused here. I removed the anchor from the root. If you don't want to get confused, note the negative keyword without touching anything. Notice what happened, guys. You didn't remove the ticks. Be very precise here. Without touching anything, then I go around the negative keyboard, set its level, and say, okay, sir, once I make it exact negative, these are our targets, right? Nothing happens in the operation. It just shows excluded in front so that you don't mix it up in your next filter. In the negative keyword, from this point on, the anchor won't appear if it becomes a class with A. When I see this, I remember to be careful because I have two other terms that I don't want to make exact here. Guys, these are techniques to avoid redundancy. JD, I see, sir, the anchor itself, even with K, the star, I make it negative. Why? I said in negative, guys, each character is important. I put it with K, see? They also make the soap negatives. I see, sir, I don't have plain soap at all, so I make soap completely negative. Anything that gives bought soap, like bought soap, I don't want it to appear anymore. I also gave its level, so I don't repeat the work. At that moment, I only make the number negative. Again, I save this one too. The one I previously made negative, I made negative again, so it doesn't get saved either. I made an encore with ibacola negative as well. Every time you cancel the C, the ticks and the arch don't change. Be very careful. I made the number negative again because I didn't want to repeat the work. Well, I also have the change that I made ibacola negative at the same angle. Now imagine I went and made all the negatives. Well, I won't forget. Remember the circle I mentioned above? You should write a lot about the negative quadrant. Now, based on what I saw here, in which two levels or campaigns is it? Above or in the same group? Be careful. Nothing crosses the line. Everything is a vertical movement. Either remove the negative keyword in the ad group or at the campaign level, or conversely in the lower ad group or the upper campaign. It will actually be removed from negative. So let's not forget this. I also mentioned this technique that whether you cancel or save the keyword, these ticks will remain. Guys, if you are changing your path from removing negative, make sure to select and deselect all once when you go to the keyword. Because if you're not careful, you might mistakenly remove the same keyword from both the ad and the keyword. So the question arises here, why isn't it getting any impressions? Now, we also remind you, don't forget that the default setting for removing negative keywords was an exact match. I was able to change it manually, even altering its text. Well, when I did that, if I changed the text and didn't mark it as excluded to avoid confusion, I did it again precisely. Someone might say, don't leave it unchecked. Make sure it's excluded in its operation. You can't just keep giving K. Now I want to go act and remove it from the keyword. I'm aware that I said I would remove it from the keyword, so I go to the ad group level. I am positioned at the campaign search team level, right? So I go to the ad group level. Why do I go to the ad group level? Because guys, I need to follow the team structure, right? To adhere to the team structure, I need to sit at the ad group level.
Now I'm thinking about it, and I'm looking at the 3 social gatherings in the ad group. So anything that isn't related to the main thread, I won't remove from the keyword. What if it's for another ad group? Look at what happens. I know the main thread is general, right? And I check to see if they've separated any other main threads. Guys, or I don't see it. They haven't separated the main thread in Team 3 for any reason that might be relevant now.
Well, but I see, sir, I had the thread of Demsa, the thread of Kabulna Demsa. Well, it's saying close variant. I said, I don't care about this close variant. I don't have this term. Because we need to fix your next overlap, guys. For now, I'll remove this from their keyboard, the ones I want, and then I'll also check the keyboards. If there was an overlap with the close variant, I'll remove one of them, the one that doesn't have data. This is not a movie. It's something that happens every month. Okay? Now I look at the Kabulna Demsa thread. I want it closely. And the Demsa thread is not in the thread now. The price of the Demsa thread. Buying Kabulne with thread, I send this aimed, where do you see it, guys? I have Kabulne. I doubt this. I take this piece or whatever. Then I go and right-click it, open it. Then I go to see the Kabulne investment to see if I took the Demsa thread there or not. We don't know the difference, but in terms of user understanding, it makes a difference. Kids, because they see Copeland with a glossy finish, since the Copeland model has operated as a serial number model, maybe it's just a job, I don't know the reason. Don't be surprised that I know these things and say, how come he knows these things well? It's because I started this business myself from the beginning, so I know every detail of it. Well, it says New Easy Copeland, which means the Copeland thread has come in. So probably this Copeland that I have here, which hasn't been opened yet, still has the label on the Copeland itself. This is not on the Copeland thread. When I have the Copeland thread, I don't change this closed variant anymore. I go down to the Copeland thread, do whatever is necessary, and add the glossy thread as well. So I look here, kids, I added the keyword column here, moved its column here. Well, this is the closed variant of this. I cut it, take it, and don't make any changes. I go to buy the glossy thread. Well, the words I use for my work come in handy when I thread the glossy thread. Guys, I don't thread it here. Why? Suppose I come here now, for example, for online shopping of the skein, I don't thread it here because I have it on the other side. Everything is just about the thread, the price of the original silk thread, where to buy the silk thread, the imam's thread. What is sack sewing thread? I had heard of making a sack, but I hadn't heard of sack sewing thread. Embroidery thread and glossy thread came the same. The imam's thread, or the thread of the turban, I put it here. I know my own class and brand, so I don't thread it again. I have the suitable needle punch thread, and these are the same. I don't thread the glossy thread again, and this is another keyword that it has taken. I mentioned penguin thread, currently available on Digicala and others. When it's your competitor, we neither add nor subtract it for now. I have embroidery supplies, but not in this group. Guys, this is what I mean when I say we do this at the group level. I focused on glossy thread and nothing else. For example, I have workshops, but I don't deal with them here. DMC thread, such and such catalog, DMC thread color codes. I had, for example, for now, this is it. The DMC tapestry thread was higher, now it's opened. I don't know what I'm taking in the jet of art. Should I go into the tapestry keywords to see what these are? Buying tapestry, yes. I said it right. It targeted the tapestry itself and threw its threads here. It's logical. There's no problem. Well, for example, suppose I added these 5 here. What about embroidery with thread? The kids in the thread don't have embroidery thread here anymore. What was my first decision tick? Arpestua is mansichi. It was on the lentil keyword. I hit the lentil keyword. I composed. Pay attention here, guys. It's saying to write this keyword in default match. What is the default match type of the lentil keyword? Brother, I could have researched it. Yes, guys, when I go into cleaning 3 communities. Brother, when I added 1 or 2 of those at first, I don't add any more brother. I don't remember seeing it in English, guys. Don't add broad at all, or phrase or exact. I don't add this broad here. I start, or I phrase it. Which for now, I prefer to phrase it here. Or exact, like where to buy the thread for embroidery. Whether I want it or not, the poor guy is trying to make it exact. This is the imam's thread, the price of the imam's thread. Well, if I have it, I'm adding it, I'm freezing it, adding it. I spot embroidery thread purchase, embroidery thread price. Well, I'm definitely not making it exact for now unless I see its exactness. As we say, it's made us double seed. At that time, it understands the issue. For now, I'm putting it in the freezer, and I'm freezing it. I come down to a suitable needle thread, because buying a suitable needle thread can be better to freeze it than just putting it exact. Because buying and its tar can bring it inside, right? Look, kids, I want to add this. Pay attention to what that Friday says. What it says, this keyword in this campaign, in this ad group, it is supposed to be added. Or if I said this, draw a circle around it, write it down with a flash underneath in the same ad group. Sir, if a keyword comes up that was suitable for another ad group, or gave me a hint that we haven't created this ad group yet, should we go and create it? Can we directly add it from here? No? Are you cleaning the keyword? Whether it's a negative or an add keyword, the movement is vertical. Stay in this ad group, because if I wasn't paying attention and just wanted to add keywords, I might accidentally add embroidery tools, supplies, and equipment. Then what would happen? So, now in this ad group, the embroidery equipment that was already targeted has come in. Now why did this happen? What should be done? Now that I'm here, it had come in well. If I had hit that, I would have adjusted to fight, which would lead to the general group. I would have adjusted even in the thread group. I had become adjusted. Well, this team is shaking the group. Everything is loose. Everything became loose. Did you understand what happened? So I know the level of the group. I only focus on the embroidery thread and I start working there. When I know I'm only working on the embroidery thread level, I know if there was anything other than embroidery thread, So I did this work. Now I might have fixed it. Don't forget, brother. Don't let it bother you. It won't be useful to you. And women, look, kids, the tick remains. Do you see the remaining ticks? Always, if your work is done, in that state, if you want to shift and go to negative, for example, or if you want to go negative, there was a device, make sure to completely clean it, okay, and clean everything thoroughly once. Now, sir, I am cleaning this. I am seeing this point. I am cleaning this side, for example. I am seeing the numbering here. Okay, for example, I see it here. Hasn't the numbering been separated? For example, or I have the tapestry itself. The tapestry is here too. Because I want some options where the tapestry is bought with the thread. I need to do this from the keyboard so that in this same group, it is added to the thread. What should I do? You said that this keyboard negative is also close to this group. I select this and manually copy it. I say, bring its group number for me. Look, if you had its group number, if you didn't, what would you do? Or you create an empty group number. You start from here. Exactly this stage that I want to show here, you number it over there, okay? I bring its group number into the keywords, okay? I copy it manually, go over there, freeze it, and add it. Okay? This is when you're adding the shiv. Now suppose it's right here, and I have the film open. For example, this is the cable itself. Here, I manually freeze it, press Ctrl V, and close the freeze. This means that when you are cleaning up an ad group, you are cleaning it from the keywords as well. At the same time, some keywords you are dealing with are related to other ad groups. Or you can create a new ad group. You open a new tab like the one I just opened. Where do you bring the ad from its keyboard? I clicked on the plus. You saw it, right? I clicked on the plus and it came here. You manually copy it and bring it here. You don't check it over there, it doesn't get checked. I copied it and over there, for example, I see online purchase of a blender. I need this term here again, so I temporarily add it. Later, if I want, I will exclude it. Just a point, I'm saying write it down, guys. If I type a keyword that I currently have added and it has received very few clicks, and I come to change it to another type, this freeze match purchase of a blender is practically as if a keyword has been removed and added somewhere else. Don't be surprised if some of your keywords, especially if your main keyword is this. Yes, if I leave this all, your numbers will change. Pay attention to the filters. Don't be surprised if you see a section where you say, oh, this was removed. I don't have it removed here. Suppose this was removed and I have it here. What happens? The data is still there, but it has been removed. A new keyword is added there. For example, let's assume now the purchase keywords. So I want to remove this. This creates such a situation where the data remains, but the new keyword is there. Now, why did I remove it? I made a mistake. Let me add this keyword again. When I add this keyword, you might think it's exactly the same. Don't look at it as removed. I want to make it exactly as if I'm adding a new keyword. Okay, and our friend left in the situation. Has it been moved? Now, because it was in line, you might not notice it. But this hasn't been done in our item, meaning it's like someone made a new one. Okay, so for example, now I see a frame for embroidery. I see the embroidery frame here in the workshops, and I have the frame, but I don't have the embroidery frame. Okay, I take it to the workshops. If I see I have a lot of repeated embroidery frames, what then? And I see in this same ad group, I also have a lot of embroidery workshops, and it's coming in here too. What happens with this? I see create new ad group. I remove it from the group if I go here. If it opens, God willing. I go to the campaign level on the left side, the ad group, and then the keywords. I go here to my campaign level. Then here I click on Ad Group Plus, and here I click on Ad Group Simple. This is the same process we had before. Then I copy this and paste it there, freeze it. Well, I'm saying I need the general glossary with my hand here. I have the general glossary here. I need to take it there. If I don't have it, I copy it with Ctrl-C, open it, and it keeps getting added. I take it one by one from here and distribute it to other places. So, guys, what does this action cause? In the simplest possible way, the connection between the three mistakes and your keyboard is increasing. Why? Because the negatives are being prepared. You are hitting the negatives, but don't hit the clean ones carelessly. Don't make mistakes. Pay attention to the negative problems. And I'm breaking down the ad groups. I didn't say in the separation that whether a specific word is in the ad group or not is not important at all. Behavior, staying more at work. Well, those that have a price faced it, and even the cash purchase of a beautiful flower embroidery thread price, user behavior one by one from group B. Well, now, so the sufficiency of the ad group, who has been separated for the rest, cannot be crossed if you check it. You only added it in the same ad group, whether negative or in the upper campaign or in the same ad group, and I definitely told you. Add the keyword at the ad group level. You do this here. Add the negative keyword at the campaign level because you don't want it at all and you want to remove it. Please don't make this mistake. And finally, after you have added it, you go to their bids. And since when I am adding this, well, let's assume I want to add it here. For example, I added the keyword now. I don't add the close variant because it's in Arabic. And I'd want all of these. I want to exact it, for example. I'm saying, well, can I both phrase and exact a word? Yes. Here's its phrase. I put its exact above because this word is very important to me. Its aspect is also important. So it searched itself exactly. This is my own user. I don't know. I want to raise it a bit higher for it. You don't need to do this for everything. Have your strategy in mind. So look, when I left this space empty and didn't touch its follower, it is taking the time to search. When I left this space empty, it is getting stricter. Don't touch its follower. It is taking the time to search. From the max CPC of the ad group, can you also manually edit it here? There's no problem, right? To open it, for example, if it's exact, let's say I want to set this to 8, for instance, and then I save it. Automatically, it doesn't take that. It doesn't take the ad group. I have it there manually. You can also do this. I usually add it and then go over there to fix it. Well, or I do the opposite. I change this. All our keyboards have come to the default state. Let's assume, meaning their bids have been moved around, it's no longer on the default ad group. In this line, you should be close to or above, or you should change your default ad group. I don't manually add it here anymore, meaning it's the reverse of that strategy. Think about what I'm saying. And when I add these, I keep adding them higher default. I keep adding them higher. I don't manually adjust here anymore. It's automatic. All of these that are going up are being adjusted. Be aware that before this, I took my keywords out of the default state. And what does that mean? It means I manually changed their bids one by one. Guys, even if you cancel, remember the real ticks are ours. Slide, deselect. Don't forget. This was the first step of optimization that we learned together. So it involved cleaning up, organizing our threads, and grouping them. Doing this exactly helps you first, in the shortest possible time. This task should be done periodically, in the shortest possible time. Our ad gets cleaned up. The connection between our ad and the keyword becomes stronger, and ultimately your keyword and ads can lead to a higher CTR. In fact, the expected CTR increases because it becomes more relevant. If you have a clean ad group and a dedicated landing page for that specific ad group, it can actually enhance your landing page experience as well, because it easily... Well, they keep going exact, which is wrong. You can't light up the whole world with this flashlight I was talking about. I can exactly see the user's behavior, and from this, I can work on it. Let me give you a tip, a little trick. Never, when you're cleaning up your ad structure, do I care about its clicks and impressions. At this point, I'm only focusing on the diversity of the debate, exactly the topic we talked about in the keyword planner. We said, in the keyword planner, for example, that we don't care about the search volume. The diversity of keywords is what matters to us. I want to throw you into the same category. So I don't pay any attention to its search volume, impressions, or clicks when I'm cleaning up my search. This is the last point about cleaning up searches. In the next videos, we will go into the exact parameters of quality score, like ad relevance, expected CTR, DTC, and landing page experience, and we will improve them together, then separately, and what techniques we need to use. Finally, you will learn how, after we have built the foundation, I can increase the volume of impressions and traffic with minimal changes to the bid. Guys, someone who only works with bids is not an artist. Anyone can do that. Can change their traffic by altering the bid. Okay, I consider an artist to be someone who can improve, optimize, and increase their traffic without changing their click prices, and achieve better performance. That's that. In the next video, I will let you know about